the government will continue to work, and we will continue to provide updates on the work they do. Right now, on the infrastructure end, the different contractors are currently engaged with preparatory work in the mobilization of equipment and personnel to launch the much anticipated autopause style of road work that will be taking place all across the country. To some extent, they've started some work in the Masurado area, repairing potholes and other places. The mobilization has continued for the full execution of the autopause style of work. We see the rains have subsided, and so we know towards the dry season, even though we have intermittent rains, but we're in the dry season and we're ready to roll up. The commitments we made were real, they were not imaginary. We said during this dry season there will be massive road works across the country. And we meant them because we already have the contractors, many of whom have a contract with the government. There's no point of negotiation. The only thing that has slowed down the work that they are supposed to do was the fact that we have a long period of rainy season. And by their own standard, it is not acceptable to continue to build roads when it's raining, because if you're wasting the resources, and such roads will not be durable. And so you'll be wasting resources. So they prefer, by their own standard, to do much of their work when the rains are over. So now that they have done their preparatory mobilization work, we look forward to seeing the beginning of the construction work all across the country. Second, the Liberia Electricity Corporation is continuously making progress, and we wanted to give you some generation status as of September 2025. And the Coffee Hydro plant, which has been our principal source of electricity, there are 4 units, if you like to call them turbines. 3 of those turbines with a power output of 66 megawatts are operational. When we took over, there were 3 of those turbines were down in a way that they were not in full operation. 3 with an output of 66 megawatts are operational currently. The first unit is on repair, and the repair work will be completed by May of next year. And when that is done, the full output of 88 megawatts of energy will be generated from the hydro. In terms of thermal generation, which basically takes place at the bushel facilities, there are a couple of HFO machines. Machine number 1, which is financed by the government of Liberia, has an output of 9 megawatts. That machine is currently undergoing maintenance, and the maintenance will take 16,000 hours to be completed. Then the second one, which is also 9 megawatts, is honor, repair, and review. And there's another one that is provided by JACA, which I believe is a government agency. It is operational, but we go through some maintenance in November. And then the final unit is the one provided by the World Bank. There are 3, unit 1 to 3. Repair works are going on with it, it's in progress. The 4th unit is paused because they are awaiting safety clearance to put it into utilization. In terms of import of electricity, in addition to what I just explained to you about the hydro and the thermal, we have 2 importations of electricity into the country. One is through CRNJ from Cote d'Ivoire, and they're currently supplying the country with 50 megawatts of electricity. And the second is for a company called EDG in Guinea. They are currently supplying 80 megawatts of electricity. So the total amount of energy being imported, in addition to what the grid is providing, is 50 and 30, which is 80. So if you're wondering as to the kind of stability you have experienced in your homes, in your businesses with electricity, these are some of the reasons why they are happening. The IEC management team has said that I should say confidently to the public that the scenario of the past, where you have stable electricity during the rains, and then you have serious challenge during the dry season, they say that period is over. And so the assurance they are giving is that even as we move into and during the dry season, the current stability you see in the provision of electricity to the population will remain just like that. There are all ongoing and planned projects by the Liberia Electricity Corporation. One of them is the 20 megawatt solar power generation capacity financed by the World Bank. 72% of civil work and panel installation are being completed. The scope of the project will fit into our electrical grid and is expected to be concluded and dedicated in November. The National Dispatch Center, which is a control place for which is sit, control and monitor everything, a new one was being built. That is around 70% of the civil works are being completed. Then the Mount Coffee Extension Project, the engineering design and tender preparations are ongoing. They also have the SP2 hardware development. Baseline and feasibility studies are being concluded, and the fund mobilization with the World Bank is being concluded as well. The CLSG rural electrification that covers Botota, River 6, and Nima are energized. 24,000 connections are made with 3,936 streetlights targeted, all to be installed by December 2025. They've also taken an approach with independent power producers. What have they done? They had a number of companies that they were engaged with, but after their vetting, they dropped some and are proceeding with some. One of them is Alto Energy Africa, and they intend to do a facility that will generate 190 megawatts of power, and will use the St. John River as a source. They have an MOU, confirmatory studies are ongoing, and the IEC commercial framework is being developed. SGTPC projects will provide 40 megawatts of electricity. They will use HFO machine. That HFO are heavy fuel oil engine. a PPP is already signed to that effect. CCEG, that intends to have 150 megawatts of energy. 50 will be HFO, and 100 megawatt will be solar. So it's a hybrid arrangement. The negotiations are ongoing. TBL will provide 75 megawatts, will be solar, and it's targeted for Bomi County. The feasibility study is on the way. The Minister of Finance has requested the PRC is in progress. Energy America, they can provide up to 100 megawatts of electricity. It will be solar based. The technical and grid studies are in progress. Then the shuffling lease, which is meant to provide 23.5 megawatts of electricity, and it should be solar. The lease assignment has been signed, and the solar energy facility will be constructed in the shuffling area. It will be a source of energy grid. So that's progress on the energy and rural side. I have always said, when you have a society where in the name of politics, a segment of that society opposes anything that is progressive because they believe it will hurt them politically, it's a society that will struggle to be developed. All over the world, politics is also involved. But a good politician will want the government of the day to succeed so that when they take over, they don't face the challenge of having difficulty to govern. So as you know, why am I bringing this up? As you know, the government of America has announced an extension of the visa viability of visa in the non-immigrant category for Liberian citizens. The category of visa being mentioned, B1 and B2, are not visas that are used by government officials. When the Yapa wants to travel, you get what A visa or B visa or one of those categories. The visa we're talking about are B1, which is normally used by business people, and B2, which is the one each of you here, whenever you apply and want to get a visa, the one you use. Recent, visas are being issued to people in some cases for just 3 months, single entry. What are being announced is something that used to happen way in the past, that's before we fought war. You know, you were now born. Where we were qualified to get a visa for up to 3 years. All of that became history. And the maximum period of B1, B2 visa that will come to our citizens for 1 year, multiple entry. The category of people getting that has also dropped. So they announced this. I guess if they have said the country has been placed on visa restriction, which again will not affect the government official or impose visa restriction or an empower have to do something, we gave visa years ago. The people who are affected always will be the ordinary people. So this pronouncement is about the country, yes, but mostly about the ordinary people, where many of you fall. And what has been the response for some people who are on the other side? Visa will eat. Visa will be a road. Threatening all kind of things. I saw one interesting post where the person said, we hope people have also negotiated with the embassy or with the American government so the huge rate of denial can also be dropped. Even the 3-year visa we're talking about doesn't mean everybody who will walk to the embassy to get the visa. It's an opportunity to to issue visa that had a longer validity period. Until recently, Nigeria, for example, they used to give ordinary visa, E1B2 visa for over 5 years. It changed recently with the administration. So basically, the new administration, the EU, have been cutting down on these privileges. In our case, the single African country figured out and given this opportunity. A lot of people are angry and want to make it a low fare. It does not mean anything. That we're now supposed to be dictating to America that anybody who comes to your office will give them a visa. The issuance of visa to individual is the prerogative of the issuing authority, the embassy. But more importantly, is at the mercy or determination of that visa counselor who is dealing with you on your case basis. So it's not a process that anybody can interfere with, because there are benchmarks they have for which they deny people visa. No government is supposed to be negotiating, they don't deny anybody visa, anybody appear before you get the visa. That's not why it is. Where we are is once you qualify to get a visa, there's a prospect opportunity and window that you get a year visa, a 2-year visa, or up to 3-year visa. Which is good for trade, it's good for tourism. And I don't know why somebody's understanding will be that it's not important to get bread on the table. The businessman who is deeply involved with business in the US, sometimes some of them can even get denied visa. And they will have to keep going to the embassy back to back because of the short lifespan of the visa. It's happy when a passport who carries a visa that is up to 3 years. It determines the number of business trips he can make to the US. That puts food on his table. It puts bread on the table of those who are working with him in his business. Job creation is basically a primary responsibility of private institutions. Private institutions, if I may say. If you go to America, that all of us can be running to, where it's easy for people to find jobs, most of the jobs are provided by the private sector. Liberian private sector actors are struggling. Their businesses, if they are traveling, can help to employ people. And this singular action